横浜
Welcome to the official live stream of the Sepang International Circuit. My name is Jeevan Selvanathan, and on this bright blue sky, beautiful day up at Sepang, we're about to watch round 4 of the Malaysia Championship Series. It is the National Touring Car Series of Malaysia, and it is played out, or raced out I should say, on this beautiful Sepang International Circuit. 5.542 kilometers, 15 corners, and known just around the world now. So many different races and championships have taken part up here. Now, of course, 2 races, as is the format for round 4, and as you can see on the grid already, some of the big names. That's Mark Darwin sitting in his Tedco Racing car. That car has been one of the highlights and one of the big successes for this season. 3 rounds previous to this, each round with 2 races again, and well, as I said at the last meet, which was in July, there is very little in the motorsports kind of world that hasn't happened at the Malaysia Championship Series. Pretty much over the first 4 rounds, or first 3 rounds, we've seen everything that you could see on a racetrack, from black flags, yellow flags, heavy rain, bright sunshine, last minute overtakes. That actually happened in the last round. I'll give you a quick summary as to what's happened so far in the championship as these guys get around on their formation lap. That's Jonathan Z, one of the big names from the last round. Had a great couple of races in round 3 and was really in a lot of battles. Those 2 cars at the front, while the bright blue car is the Tedco Racing number 11 of Mark Darwin. On the other side of the grid, that's Go Li Heng, who's going to be partnered up with Fitra Eri. Each of these teams allowed 2 drivers, and within the race there are, well, it's effectively 3 classes. The headlining class is, of course, the Touring Production class, then after that the MTC, the Malaysia Touring class, and also the Sport Production cars as well. Those are the 3 main classes. In the MTCs, Suzuki Swifts, Proton Satrias, Toyota Vios, even a Mazda 3. Those are the types of cars you can find. They usually start propagating around the middle of the grid. In the Touring Production, well, the Honda FD2R that you see right there, that's Baron Sim Kwang Tech, partnered up with Tony Teo. In fact, this time partnered up with Boy Wong. Earlier in the season, he was partnered up with Tony Teo, and that is really one of the go-to cars in touring car racing. Wherever you are watching in the world, there are a lot of other people watching today. A big hello to the Malaysian motorsports community, of course, that all centers around this signature track, but also touring car racing, one of the most widespread formats of motorsport racing around the world. So to everybody else watching around the world on this live stream, hi, how are you doing? It's going to be another fantastic weekend, and as you can see, some very hot conditions as well. We did get a report in just now from race control. It's 50.7 degrees is the track temperature out now, and that's at the start of the race. There's a good chance that over the next hour it could get a lot hotter than that. So you can imagine how hot it is inside the car in those leathers as well. Let's look at the starting grid. Mark Darwin with 2:25, 3:22 took pole position. Go Li Heng in second with Fitra Ari, 2:28, 2:36. Baron Sim and Jonathan Z in third and fourth. Fikri Rahim and Fadzil Alang in fifth and sixth. Big race needed from Fikri. Tony Teo driving solo in seventh, and Lim Ye Xiang in eighth. Akid Azli and On Yu Wei row 5 of the grid. That's Paul Fan and Roy Tang as we get into the MTC class cars now, 11th and 12th. Ahmed Nasri Saad and Keith Leoffman in 13th. Ken Urata and Mashiko Ido in 14th. Chong Chow and Tam Yik Chun in 15th. Brendan Lim and Chris O'Shaughnessy. Brendan Lim today in 16th. Adam Khaled in 17th. Farid Sani and Ju Lao in 18th. Brendan Paul and Si Wyong in 19th and Danny Chin in 20th. Big race for Brendan Paul today. Geraldine Darlene Reed in 21st and Fuyong Che and Admi Sharul in 22nd. And still row 12, Lung Yen Lee, Hugo Chai and Alex Wong, 23rd and 24th. Row 13 is Shazuli Hisham Harun and William Chong and Alan Tam. Row 14, NKE, Tan Siu Chong and Eric Yong Boon Pin. Rashid Ramlan and Farouk Khatir should be our final 2 drivers. No, sorry, one more row. Kwak Wai and Shafiq Shamsuddin. That's 32 competitors, 33, including Nazrul Hakim. Always find Nazrul Hakim at the back of that grid. Last couple of rounds now. Now, there were a lot of names in that list. There was a big list to get through, but I couldn't really stop on a couple of names there. Big race in the MTC class for Brendan Paul and Si Wyong from the Dream Chaser team. They've done really well in the last 2 rounds, and I'll get you the specifics on exactly what they've done, but they overtook Nick Ma up at the front of the table in the last round, because it was a really shocking weekend for Nick Ma and Brendan Lim. A double DNF. Talking of double DNFs, another name that, well, hopefully not as soon as I say it, but there's a car that stopped just outside the pit lane. And that looks like Rashid Ramlan. Yes, it is Rashid Ramlan coming pushed back into the pits. Now, the other person, just as I said that, with the DNF is, of course, Keith Leoffman, one of the fastest drivers on the track, starting pretty far down the grid today, but has had the strangest set of results over the opening 3 rounds, because it was a double DNF to kick off the season, then it was a second and a first in round 2, and then it was another double DNF in round 3. So really, this is the most key race that that Dr. Mayhem Racing Team car needs to finish, because they're going to make any impact on the championship. Of course, the last round, round 5, which is going to be on the 20th of September, is a different format. If you imagine race 1 and race 2 put together, then it is a 300-kilometer endurance race. One-off race where these guys can cap their season. But so far, it is looking like Tedco Racing are going to have a bit of a celebration, because they've put in the best performances so far. Now, they're coming back off the formation lap onto the back straight. That's where the cars will all have to keep in formation. Memory serves it. In fact, yes, it does serve perfectly well. At the race 2 of round 3, there was a double formation lap, because race control are entitled to do that. If you're not lined up in a 2x2 formation, it is a rolling start, of course, then race control has it within their rights, as they do with a lot of things, to ask for another formation lap. So everyone's taking it very carefully around turn 15. Over the next hour, it's 1 hour plus the leader. You should see 22 laps from these guys. That was the amount that was logged in by Mark Darwin. The last race, roughly around 21, 22. So the red lights are on. And it looks like we are green and go for round 4 of the Malaysia Championship Series. And immediately Go Li Heng cuts in from that second spot on the grid. Good, solid start from Mark Darwin. Baron Sim just tucked in behind Jonathan Z, already acting up in 4th. That looks like Aki Dasli in 6th. Just lost position going into turn 2. Mark Darwin looks like he's come through. Goh Lee Heng just fighting for Baron Sim, just off your screen there. Now this track is fantastic to drive on in any conditions, but today, on a day like this, you're gonna get a lot of grip off those tires because they're gonna warm up very quickly. Now that's looks like a bit of position changing going through turn 4. This is uphill now. Well, look at that. Goh Lee Heng has forced his way to the front of that pack just behind Mark Darwin, who again is just turning on the jets right from the get-go. Baron Sim, I can see, is settling into 3rd. Aki Dasli should be in 4th. But we'll really only know as they come around the first lap completed. This is turns 9 and 10 going uphill now. A lot of overtaking opportunities here. And a bit of contact immediately. Well, these touring cars have to be managed well. You can drive them at pretty much whatever speed you like around these corners, as they are road-going cars. They are meant to grip the corner, sorry, except of course with it's probably advisable to keep your cornering speeds down, because with a high chassis like that, you're going to be pulling off all sorts of G-forces, especially with these big corners coming down. It's a very fast stretch of the circuit there, from turns 10 to turn 14 onto the back straight. And now we're going to see well, Mark Darwin's already crossed the line, I can tell you, ahead of this pack, and he's already put down a 4:24.059. That's his best lap so far. Sorry, that was that formation lap. Is 2:28.670 is his actual lap. I was wondering why that was, but that's the fastest you can be. He's pretty much set benchmarks in sector 1, 2, 3, and 4. So Mark Darwin's declaring his intent early on. Already, as you can see, almost 3 seconds ahead of Goh Lee Heng. And then there is this battle, a couple of seconds just between them. Now, you're looking for that telltale blue car, but it might be too far off your screen now. Just settling in, coming up to lap 3. Now that looks like Tony Teo in that green-orange engineering car. Just had to swerve out of the way to let Fikri Rahim through. Goh Lee Heng and Baron Sim up into turn 9. Aki Dasli and Jonathan Z. Well, that's made me sit up in my seat, because those two had a massive battle over both races of round 3. And it looks like they're going to pick it up where they left off. There is just 1 second between 4th placed Aki Dasli and 5th placed Jonathan Z right now. Mark Darwin, Goh Lee Heng and Baron Sim ahead of them. Clipping the curb a little bit. That's the battle between Tony Teo and it should be Fadzil Alang behind him now. Well, it looks like Baron Sim is just ahead of Goh Lee Heng coming into turn 15 now. Looking back at that start again. Now just watch Goh Lee Heng just drift over from the right, just cutting that line off, and just behind Mark Darwin, right in the bottom of your screen, Baron Sim, Jonathan Z just bunching up behind. Those are your top four. Jonathan Z trying on the inside, but that's a perfectly placed car by Baron Sim. Did actually go a bit wide after that and left the inside of turn one open, but couldn't cut through for turn two. A nice, easy start from all of our competitors. Now we've just got news that the pit window, there's just one mandatory compulsory pit stop to be made in every Malaysia Championship Series race, and we've just heard that the pit window is going to be open from 12:50 to 1:05. That is in about 14 minutes from now. There's a lot of drivers in the last round that did benefit from that pit strategy by having that one pit window. Jonathan Z was one of them. 2 races of round 3, won by Mark Darwin on Saturday and Roy Wong on Sunday. Mark Darwin was some 40 seconds ahead of Goh Lee Heng with 7 laps to go in that race, and it looks, based on this performance he's putting in already, that he could hit that kind of distance again. He's now 5 seconds ahead of Baron Sim in second, and has put down a 2:26.826 as the only driver to be on 2:26 at the moment. There's Jonathan Z and Akid Azli. Akid just ahead, but not by much, a 100th of a second. And I wonder if their speed is going to drift them into that battle ahead of them. That's Goh Lee Heng going very, very wide, but hasn't got straight line power to oust. Baron Sim tries on the inside, or at least has a look, and may have actually done it. No, looks like he's pulled aside. Well, how about that side to side? That's about half a car, but he's going to tuck inside now. Well, he is all over the back of that car now. The S-bend of turn 1 and 2. He's going to look to cut inside here. That's wonderful stuff from Baron Sim. That's the perfect line through turns 1 and 2. Just the right amount of attacking, just the right amount of defending. So Goh Lee Heng is going to have to wait. Going uphill now into turn 5. Just checking every side, right, left, and maybe with some late braking, but no, not that time either. Well, has been benefited there by a little runoff by that number 66 car, but still can't pull himself past. Oh, Baron Sim is going to be a little bit more careful on that corner in the next lap, I'm sure. That was the closest that Goh Lee Heng has come to taking second spot. Mark Darwin, by the way, is absolutely screaming away in front of these two. He's now 8 seconds ahead of them. Very much Mark Darwin's style to turn on the jets at the beginning of the race, build up a really big lead, get into the pits, very late pit stop, come out, pretty much do the same thing. Running solo in that car today. Well, there's been some contact there for sure, and that's one of the Vioses on the sport production class, and one of the MTCs as well. Now we'll be able to tell you who, because they're going to drop off the timing screens pretty quickly. Let's just have a look at it again. Well, that's definitely, well, that was locked up brakes. And that is Geraldine Reed in the R Engineering Vios. That had trouble with the brakes just now. So coming across the line again, confirming our top 5, Mark Darwin. In fact, it's 4 Tedco racing cars in the top 4. Mark Darwin, followed by Baron Sim, Goh Lee Heng and Akid Azli. Jonathan Z right behind them in 5th, Fikri Rahim right behind them in 6th, Fadzil Alang in 7th, Lin Ye Sang in 8th, On Yu Wei 9th, and Roy Tang in 10th. Currently topping the MTC class is Brendan Lim, Chris O'Shaughnessy, and Nasri Said, Kifli Othman in the sport production class today. Now there's a retirement, and you know what? That car is very familiar indeed. Let's just have a look at it. It's just drifting off. That should be Fuyong Chia and Admi Sharul. Well, that's good. Driver discipline. Something wrong with the car. Knew something was wrong with the car and has pulled it off safely, quickly, without leaving any debris on the track. Now we're seeing a lot of rough and tumble action on this very hot track here. The early parts of this race, there's 5 laps completed, but there's been bump and grind various parts of the tracks. That's Adam Khalid, the Dream Chaser team. Currently 2nd in the MTC class. Now, is this going to be some more contact on that same corner? That's turn 5. It's seen a lot of action already. It wasn't really contact, it was just basically being pushed off the line. Well, that's Hugo Chai and Alex Wong looking like they've got some serious problems with their back tire, and that was the other car that was involved in that little shunt with Geraldine Reed. So that car has now been identified. It looks like it took a bit of a back wheel bashing. The sunlight just glints off these cars. That's Chong Chow, currently 19th overall. You just see the heat haze coming off the track now. Just about 20 minutes gone. Now here are the fast corners leading up to the second half of the track. It's Eric Yong. Should be Nazrul Hakim just ahead of him. It is. Eric tries on the inside going up turn 9. Much bigger car, look at that. That's the essence of mixed class racing right there. At Sport Production, Vios right in the middle of 2 Swifts, and talking of Swifts, it's a swift departure out of the pits for Hugo Chai and Alex Wong to have them back in the race. Mark Darwin now 11 seconds ahead in the touring production class. Ken Urata has taken over the lead of the sport production class, and still it's Brendan Lim and Chris O'Shaughnessy in the MTC class. That's Farid Sunny going on the inside of Brendan Paul and CY Ong. Brendan Paul and CY Ong having a far more quiet race. They're currently in 4th in the MTC class. After a double win in round 3, remember, where they did take the lead in the touring production class by some 18 points. If you want more information on the Malaysian Championship Series, just get onto the official website, www.sepangcircuit.com. You can check out all the championship standings there. I did a couple of rough calculations just before this, and Baron Sim should be heading up that touring production class with 55 points after taking 15 from round 3. Mark Darwin added another 15 as well, but the big winners were Brendan, Paul and CY in the MTC. 30 points put them on 70. And with their closest competitors not finishing, it did mean that it was a bumper weekend for them. So we're about 4 minutes away from the pit window, and while these cars, there is going to be, of course, that little area just after the pit window where everyone settles back into position based on the amount of laps that they've done, essentially. And currently our leader, Mark Darwin, is on 7 laps, but Paul Fun in 14th is on 6, so that's beginning to spread out already. And while I have the opportunity right now, before they get into the pit window, as we look at Akid Asli and Jonathan Z still battling it out, actually pushing one of those vehicles is very wide on that corner. But while I have the opportunity, remember to get involved with the EMCS Championship this season. It's a brand new initiative. It's only been running this season. Imagine an online version of what you're watching on screen and you being inside the car, because that's exactly what it's all about. That was a great piece of driving there from Baron Sim. That's a great use of a back marker to add a bit of distance. But yes, EMCS, there will be, of course, there are people racing right now. Race Room Entertainment has provided the simulators throughout the season. It runs at exactly the same time as the race, and you could be a winner on those simulators. And what you win next year is a drive in a real car. And Sepang International Circuit will take care of all the documentation and everything else that you need. But if you have the skill, you get to prove it in the EMCS room. So do check that out. Also, all information you need is on that website, www.sepangcircuit.com. Right, getting back to just pre-pit window, just over 20 minutes clock. There is our leader, Mark Darwin, who's 14 seconds ahead now. And look at the line he's taking through on turn 2. 14 seconds ahead of Baron Sim and Go Li Heng, who are still just 100th of a second apart in second and third. Absolutely no problems for Mark. Loves this track, of course, but is also very, very fast on it. Now that's a car that we've been seeing a lot of. Brendan Lim and Chris O'Shaughnessy. That was the car that Brendan Lim shared with Nick Marr up to this point. New team dynamic this weekend, but they also need a good finish as well, after a lot of trouble in round 3. Currently topping the MTC class, 15th overall, and lapping at around 240. That is confirmation of the standings of just the MTC right now. And very odd to see Brendan Paul and Siu Ong some 30 seconds off the pace. There is the exact car I was talking about. Brendan Paul in that Proton Satria. Nice move on the inside in turn 15. And that should put him ahead of Paul Fun. Well, I say should. Wow, look at the performance of that Suzuki coming down the back straight. So, as far as Sunny and Julao, sorry. Yes, Paul Fun is actually higher up in the grid. Nose to tail. And is not going to have enough pull, is Brendan Paul. So the pit window now officially open, and wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of cars coming in at the same time, and that's why you do have that area. Well, this was a daring cut down the inside by Brendan Paul, who's desperately trying to get past Farid Sani and Juke. Lao's car at the moment. Very close outside of that turn. And meanwhile, up at the front, this battle just rages on. Go Liheng and Baron Sim have been trading second and third. And as you can see, Go has now come out on top. Jonathan Z and Akidasli are getting closer and closer and closer. And our first cars start coming into that back pit. So the start of the race, that did actually look like it was overcast, but as you can see, nothing stopping the sun this time. That looks like Farouk Katia in the Vios on the inside. 27th, that's Kwok Hok Wai. SD Wangan just behind. Now that's Nasri Saad, the previous leader of the sport production class in the pits. Looks like a regular pit stop, but maybe they are dealing with a couple of extra problems. Now it looks like Xiang from Rio's Racing, and Roy Tang is now behind him. No, that's a good move from him to come in. Don't know where that pass actually happened. Well, it did. And a lot of cars coming into the pits now, and that is a very interesting initiative as well. If you want to try your hands on something a bit smaller, get onto the go-kart circuit or the main track. Yes, this track. Once again, just get all the details on www.sepangcircuit.com. It is a great track to drive on. I've had the honor of driving an F4 car on this track. Never ever forget that, I'll tell you. Not just for the track, but for the car as well. And of course the MotoGP, the Shell Malaysia Motorcycle Grand Prix, 2nd to 4th November. Tickets always selling out very fast, so do get onto the website and book your tickets early for that. Not much time left now. All the big names coming down. And of course, Hafiz Sharin is going to be looking to make some headlines on home soil at the top league. That's Akidasli, who's now in the pits as well. Fikri Rahim's in the pits on your way. Roy Tang, Lim Ye Xiang. Last we side, Danny Chin is coming in the pits. Brendan Paul, Chong Chow, and Kei. Farouk Katia trying to move out of the way of those two cars and doing a pretty good job. That's actually a great shot of how two different types of car take a very tricky corner like turn 2. The big Vios was just really trying to hang on to that line, whereas the Suzuki Swift could just cling to the inside. Now this is this massive battle for 2nd and 3rd that has literally been raging since the start of the race. They were right next to each other on row 2 of the grid, and they've been trading 2nd place. Now, of course, all of this is playing into the hands of Mark Darwin, as they are so focused on trying to stay ahead of each other that he is pulling away. He's now, well, actually, he's cut down a bit, 14.5 seconds ahead, but it's exactly the place he wanted to be at, halfway into the race. So Baron Sim tries again on the outside, but this time Go Liheng has the line and should keep that line now. I wonder if that back marker is going to play a role in this. Probably not. Yeah, they're both moving at such speed that cleanly passed. Now this could be a late braking scenario for Baron Sim into turn 1. Looks like it was also a late braking scenario. That's Fikri Rahim coming out of the pits. Fikri, another one of the drivers that does need to have a pretty good race, I have to say here. Had a really good start to the season with a win in round 1 and, sorry, a second in round 1 and a win in round 2. But since then has really dropped off the pace. And Fikri is currently in 13th, so not many points. Well, none in fact. Stays in that. Don't forget there is going to be a race 2 tomorrow, and that's going to be at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. I'll be here for that. And of course you can watch it live on the official live stream of the Sepang International Circuit. And obviously if you've missed any of the races in rounds 1, 2 and 3, then just, if you're watching this from the Facebook page now, just click on that videos tab on the left of your screen, and all of the races from this year have been archived. I've been here for all of them. Of course, I can tell you now that round 2 is one of my favorites. That was heavy rain for all these cars, really heavy rain. Sudden heavy rain as well. But don't take my word for it. Go and check out the race. It was round 2, race 1, in fact. So that's Mark Darwin into the pits. Happy with his 14-second lead. Down to pit lane speeds as you need to be. And so far, good to see everybody staying within track limits, and no word from race control yet as to any infringements. That's Fikri Rahim. Looks like he's on the tail of William Chong. But this is going to be the area of the race with so many cars coming in for pit stops. The classification is going to take a bit of a tumble, and just to prove it, Goh Lee Heng currently logged in as the leader of this race. Mark Darwin still in the pits, Goh Lee Heng still to pit as well. But there are only 7 cars that have hit 11 laps. Goh Lee Heng's actually hit 12 now. So with Baron Sim in the pits, you would be expecting Boy Wong to get into that car now. Lee Kung Sun, who's actually in action this morning, being also part of the TCSA by IMSP. He should be taking the steering wheel over from Fadzil Alang. Chris O'Shaughnessy should be taking the wheel from Brendan Lim. And Chu Lau should be taking the wheel from Farid Sani. Those, of course, in the MTC class. Tony Teo just leaving the pits now. That's Shafiq Shamsuddin. That would be Brendan Lim, who should be Chris O'Shaughnessy behind that wheel now. Overall 7th, but topping MTC. They needed to top MTC as well. I stand corrected. In fact, now I believe that Chris O'Shaughnessy should be taking the wheel of that car. They do need to get 15 from today and 15 from tomorrow. There was some great drama in the MTC class at the end of round 3 last time we saw these cars, and that was a last lap win. Like, it was essentially on the last corner. And it was Brennan Paul and Si Wyong to take that win over Danny Chin. It was in race 1 of round 3. Literally on turn 15, 3 cars came around this corner, and it was a mad dash to the finish. And how important those points were in the end, as Brendan Paul is not having the best of races today. Down in 23rd overall. So Boy Wong out now in that Tedco Racing number 66 car. Mark Darwin is back on track again. Jonathan Z's out as well. Lee Kum Sun, sorry, is out as well. Now this is going to be interesting. That is the leader of the MTC class into the pits. Now you really have to watch closely as to the effect of having one standardized pit window for all these guys to come into. And maybe it's going to play in favor of Go Li Heng, who stayed out just that little bit more, completed 13 laps now. 4 minutes left for these pit stops to get completed. There is our current leader, so it should be Fitra in that car. And therefore, we can congratulate Go Li Heng for a really fantastic first half of the race. Started on second on the grid, was battling away, and had to concede the lead to that Tedco Racing 66 car. Pulled it back, passed the car over to teammate, and Fitra Eri is now leading this race. And it's a great time to actually remind you that that car, well, that's actually, sorry, again, stand corrected in that Go Li Heng, yes, by staying out there, has been in that car. So Fitra Eri will now be getting in that car. It does get very confusing at times. But the important point is that this car is leading the race. Yep, and there is visual confirmation of that. Fitra Eri only now getting into that car, but that car has been one of the most consistent finishers in the last few months, especially over the last couple of rounds. Picked up a third in race 2 of round 1, and then it was a low scoring round 2 with a 6th and a 10th, but came back in round 3 with a 2nd in race 1 and a 5th in race 2. That's how you get to the top of the championship board, or close to it. Consistency throughout the season. Now it's safe to say for sure that Boy Wong is in that car. Very fast driver, Boy Wong. All of these drivers know the circuit very well, but a couple of names do peak when they get here. Mark Darwin's one of them, Boy Wong is another one, Keith Hoffman is another one. Drivers that just don't know how to go slow. And that really is the case with Mark Darwin, it has to be said. So this is the last action we're going to be seeing from the pit window, those cars coming in, because that pit window is going to be shut in 1 minute. After that, it's a question of hoping that you don't get any contact in turn 2. I was just about to say it, and it got very, very close. Lim Ye Xiang. Rio's racing us on your way, just ahead. On your way, that all red car. Damien Yam now at the wheel, running in 9th overall. Now the fastest sector 1 has just been put in by Jonathan Z. That's interesting. You can back that up with a couple more sectors. You might even be able to move ahead of Akid Azli. That battle has been raging as well, 3rd and 4th, and it's still raging now. pit window officially closed, and even after all those pit stops, Akid Azli and Jonathan Z are just 1 second apart. There is now our second placed car, but he should be taking the lead now. This is going to be very close coming out of the pit lane. Goh Lee Heng coming out of the pit lane. Mark Darwin crossing the line. Mark Darwin currently in the lead, but it's going to come down to turn 1. Remember that car, now driven by Fitra Eri, is going to be coming out in the back straight, so still has to take turn 15, and that means Mark Darwin is now in the lead, and probably by, say, about 15, 16 seconds at least. We'll have to wait and see. It is, like 16, 17 seconds. Well, that's a very interesting situation because Jonathan Z's actually come through in second. Akid Azli's come in third. Fitra Eri is now in fourth. Boy Wong is in fifth. So that's actually the battle for fourth and fifth that you're watching. Fikri Rahim just on the tail in sixth. Wow, that pit window opening and closing has really reshuffled the deck. Mark Darwin with a solid strategy. Not ideal, is essentially zero-sum gain. Has come out on top with 16 seconds. That is a very good situation, but he could have come out a lot more. So you'd have to say, as we look, well, that's a big spin out. We were just looking at, is that Paul Fun? Well, we were just looking at that car cruising around, and it is in fact Paul Fun's R Engineering car, and he's managed to spin it back onto track, but you just saw, well, that looks like it's a massive steering problem. It was doing fine. We were watching it. It was doing absolutely perfectly. Well, you can just see inside the car there that it doesn't seem to be responding. That's got to be a steering problem for sure. And if that was, that's really well controlled by Paul Fun. Lets it slide out onto the gravel. I think it was just the back wheels that may have picked up. And unsurprisingly, that those wheels still locked in that position. Unfortunate for Paul Fun, and another DNF on this very hot day. Did well to control it though. So we've seen Rashid Ramlan out, Fuyang Chia out, Paul Fun now out as well. Geraldine Reed still in the pits, but only completed 4 laps after that big lockup in shunt. And Shazuli Isham Harun also in pits after 3 laps. So it looks like we've got 4 races that aren't going to be making an impact. Now, up at the front, as I said, this pit window has worked out well for Mark Darwin, not so well for Goh Lee Heng and Fitra Eri. Fitra Eri has a little bit of driving to do in these last 16 minutes, but is still in the points. It is a very hot day today. And that's a look into the pits. That's Lim Ye Seng with a very wide line. Should be coming through now. Roy Tang just ahead of him. So our top 10, now that the pit window has closed and things seem to be settling down. Mark Darwin, 16 seconds ahead of Jonathan Z and Akid Azli. Same battle that we saw in round 3 is now for second and third. And there's just 1 second between them. That really is one of the battles to watch. Goh Lee Heng and Fitra Eri. Well, Fitra Eri behind that wheel now is in fourth, some 11 seconds back from Jonathan Z and Akid Azli. Boy Wong is another 2 seconds back from Fitra, so it's not safe in fourth at all for Fitra Eri. Fikri Rahim is also 2 seconds back. So the top 6 cars, a lot of battles going on. Mark Darwin, all in all, pretty lucky to come out with that 16-second lead intact after the pits. And it has to be said as a worrying sign for everybody else that's racing today that Mark Darwin in this form, in this car, on a day like this, after the pit stop with 14 minutes to go, I have to say, it's one of these stats that you can only really gauge from having the same track that each of these guys raced around. I would be very surprised if Mark Darwin did not finish this race from here, barring, of course, reliability issues. But if he has a clear track like this ahead of him, then it's pretty much all go right to the end with him. But what will happen behind him? Jonathan Z and Aki Nasli, just 0.7 of a second between them now. You can just see them. I think that's right. That's right. They're just behind at the top of your screen. There they are. This battle has been raging for 2 full rounds now. And Aki Nasli, this is the truth, and you can check it out on the archived race 2 of round 3. This car finished with 3 wheels and no back end, and still managed to take 3rd spot. Actually drove the last 3 corners of the circuit with 3 wheels. I kid you not. One of the amazing instances you see, but right now, with 4 wheels, still trying to catch up with Jonathan Z, who's again showing some great second half of the season form. Really good performance in round 3, race 1 and race 2. Finished 2nd in race 2 in round 3. Well, Jonathan Z wants another 2nd place here, and it looks like he could be on course for it. Wow, that's a bit of wary lines. NKE from the sport production class. And that's actually Adam Khalid. That's not for position. Adam Khalid in 14th, okay, in 24th. And will it be another sunny win for Mark Darwin? It's been a good year for him. Actually got married on one of these Malaysia Championship Series weekends early on in the year. I'll probably stress that it was after a win. He likes to do that. Now, that is, what you're seeing at the bottom of your screen is the overall classifications. I can tell you that Mark Darwin is leading touring production. Nasri Said is leading, actually Keithley Othman now, after the pit stop, is leading the sport production class, which is great for Keithley because he has been having a nightmare time in touring production recently. In the MTC class, Brendan Lim, Chris O'Shaughnessy, now behind the wheel of that car. And they are a good 17 seconds ahead. Good teamwork from both of them. This is what they needed from this weekend after 2 blanks drawn in round 3. And not just that, but your closest rival in the championship picking up 30 points and a double win means that you did need a performance, not just today, but also tomorrow. Just love the way these Suzuki Swifts and MTC cars just pound through this fast part of the course. That's Ken Urata, and we have another retirement, and that is Zhu Lao, after a very good run, trying to build on that lead that Farid Sani set up in the first half of the race, but Zhu Lao could do nothing about it. It's the latest in list of retirees that looks like it includes Tony Teo as well. Well, that's a big engine blowout. Now, that's going to be a point of interest because an engine blowout like that could easily leave oil on the track at a very critical point. That's the run up to turn 9. Yellow flag, unsurprisingly, shown at turn 8. And there is actually some race control information. Stop and go penalty has been awarded to Roy Tang for shortened pit. It was a mandatory pit stop time, and he's going to have a 1 second stop and go penalty. Now you must remember with stop and go penalties, it's not just a second that you stop. It is the run up in, which is at 60 kilometers an hour. That's the pit lane regulations, and the lead off afterwards. So there's a lot more time than just 1 second, but for cutting his pit stop short, he has incurred the wrath of race control. So here are the MTC classifications. Adam Khalid with a good second spot right now, some 21 seconds behind. But look at Brendan Paul and CY not being able to capitalize on that great round 3. They'll still pick up some points, but this is definitely going to bring Brendan Lim back into it. Just unrelenting sun right now. Absolutely know where to hide. That's Damien Yam in the red car. That's not actually 4th position. Damien Yam is in 8th, safely in 8th. And look at those cars just piling up on the side. This seems to be one of those touch points in the track. There's always 1 or 2 corners that suddenly turns out to be the impact point of the track. It looks like that run up from turn 8 is one of those impact points. That's William Chong, Alan Tam in fact, heading up the SP2 class. 2 classes within that as sport production as well. So 8 minutes left in the race. And if I was confident that Mark Darwin was going to win this race with 14 laps to go, then I'm very confident that he is going to win this race with 8 minutes to go. He's 12 seconds ahead of Jonathan Z. Jonathan Z has, to his credit, pulled a good 2.5 seconds ahead of Akid Azli in 3rd. Fitra Eri is closing up, to his credit, but is still some 12 seconds behind Akid Azli. And he has managed to not only close up on 3rd place, but has also put some daylight between himself and Fikri Rahim in 5th. This is going to be a good points finish for Fikri Rahim. And how about that? One of our leaders, Fitra Eri, that car, which I was saying was so consistent for these last few races, has ground to a halt. So after the great work from Go Li Heng and followed up by Fitra Eri, that is our 4th placed car that is out in a big, by the looks of it, engine blow. Again at turn 8 and turn 9. I wonder if the uphill gradient at turn 8 and 9 is now beginning to blow some engines. That's the 3rd car that we've seen in basically the space of 200 meters that has retired with essentially the same problem. Coincidence? I don't know. Mark Darwin is definitely going to be keeping an eye on this, because the last thing he's going to want at 19 laps with 6 minutes left to go, which is roughly 3 laps, is that same problem. This is where the uphill part of the circuit starts to begin. I say uphill, but it really is relative to the rest of the circuit. The circuit actually has about a 30-meter variance. Now, unsurprisingly, a full course yellow has been called immediately after that retirement from Fitra Eri, and I'm guessing that there's got to be some kind of debris on that stretch between turn 8 and turn 9. So all the cars are going to be getting down to safety car speeds. Now, we've seen full course yellows go wrong beforehand, mainly from the reduction and the increase of speed. Because, of course, once the full course yellow comes off, then you get this immediate urge to speed up. And I have seen a couple of cars spin off just from that one maneuver. So it is about focus, pulling things back. Now, Mark Darwin shouldn't have any problems being 13 seconds ahead. Look at that. Unbelievable. That is the stretch we're talking about. Turn 8. And ended up just grinding to a halt around about turn 10 by the looks of it. There should be another car that they go past turn 12, and that no, Mark Darwin easily cruising away. Now, still plenty of races to come this afternoon, of course. Of course, the TCSA by IMSP, race 1 and race 2. Ross Yusoff is going to be here for that. But right now, it is all about Mark Darwin. 19 laps completed, 13 seconds ahead. Jonathan Z is going to be my MVP, or I should really say MVD, most valuable driver, because after a fantastic round 3, where he finished second in race 2, and of course had that massive battle, he's nicely settled into second spot and has actually pulled up a 3-second lead over Akidasli as well. So that big battle that has been raging since the beginning of round 3 between Jonathan Z and Akidasli, looks like Jonathan's actually won that one. So still on an FCY. Other big news, if you have just joined us on this official live stream of the Sepang International Circuit, we've had some retirees. Not really well, apart from Go Li Heng and Fitra Eri, which was the biggest one. That's at 4th place. Geraldine Reed, 4 laps completed. Shazuli Isham Harun, 3 laps completed. Paul Fun and Tony Teo, both of them. Paul Fun's car, in fact, is just, you can just see just off at the top of your screen. That had a massive steering lock and he couldn't get the front wheels to turn right. As you can imagine, pretty serious problem. Aaron Sim and Boy Wong in 5th. Now, as we entered this full course yellow, Mark Darwin had come through back into top spot. Well, how about that? That is the number 66 car of Boy Wong, and it's not going in the right direction at all. And seeing as how Lee Kum Sun is also missing, I'm going to guess there's going to be some contact there, and that's a big story indeed, because that means all that good work that Baron Sim did at the first half of this race has now been undone. That car is going nowhere. That's one of the front runners for the championship as well. In fact, that is the championship leader in the touring production class, and as you can see, it's going absolutely nowhere on turn 11 right now. Well, that is bad news indeed. Now, the strange thing about that is it is actually stopped right in the middle of the track, and I don't think Boy Wong has actually managed to pull that off to the side. Everyone else seems to be avoiding it, but what a big story. Fitra Eri out, Go Li Heng out, Baron Sim and Boy Wong out. 1 minute 33 left for Mark Darwin before he takes yet another win this season. He won in race 1 of round 1. He won in race 1 of round 3. And it looks like this is going to be his 3rd win of the season and the 1st win of the weekend. If he can make it a double, then he's going to be nicely catapulted to the top of the championship standings. Those are the big stories. Headco Racing at one point in this race had top 4 positions. Now have 2 of the top 3. Still going well for Jonathan Z. We're looking at our top 8 now. What a story. I'll have to update you as to exactly what happened. Now this should be the last lap and the checkered flag. No, in fact, with 10 seconds left to go, this would be the last lap. That's right. So Mark Darwin, 1 hour plus leader. This is what it means. The hour is up and the lap has to be completed. So it is going to be, he was lapping at 2:26.826. minutes away from a good 15 points in the bag. So it should be another win for Nasri Saad in Sport Production 1. It should be a well-earned win for Brendan Lim and Chris O'Shaughnessy in the MTC class. They needed those 15 points. And William Chong and Alan Tam currently registered as the leaders for SB2 on the final lap. I'm sure with all these DNFs that Mark Darwin's going to be taking it a little bit easier on this final lap. He says, with 2 wheels off track, doesn't like going slowly, this boy. But a great character to have around the track. Great smiley character indeed. Now, what are the implications for the championship of this number 11 car winning again? Of course, the final round of the Malaysia Championship Series, slightly different format. Race 1 and Race 2 combined, 300-kilometer endurance race. That's 54 laps. That'll be happening on the 28th of September. And he's shown he can do it for 22 laps, twice in a row now. Well, actually 2 out of 3 times with Boy Wong taking race 2. No finish for Mark Darwin in that one. But he has been extremely consistent. And now he comes down to turn 15. It wasn't that much of a prediction when I said it at lap 14 that he'd win, because he does tend to do that, but a very solid drive from Mark Darwin, and a little bit lucky on the pit window, but as you can see there is fans and family all watching the screen. That's win number 3 for Mark Darwin this season. Well done. And Jonathan Z, we can confirm, has finished in second. It was a much slower lap from Mark Darwin in the end. 6 seconds off the lead with Jonathan Z. So again, most valuable driver of the race so far, Jonathan Z. I'm going to be looking out for him tomorrow to see what he can do. Aki Nazli confirmed finished in 3rd, just 1 second behind Jonathan Z. Fikri Rahim with some good points in 4th. We're waiting for Fadzil Alang, Damien Young, and Lim Ye Xiang to come through in 5th, 6th, and 7th. So here is Brendan Lim and Chris O'Shaughnessy. Chris O'Shaughnessy behind the wheel. They needed this win so badly. This was a double DNF in round 3, and their closest rivals in the championship picked up 30 points. So they really needed to get 15 points today, and hopefully they're going to build that up with another 15 points tomorrow, and it's all going to be on. Lots of action happening in the MTC. And it was a last corner win in round 3 that actually got Brendan Paul and Si Wyong 15 of those 30 points, but a lot happening. They'll be very happy with that, Tedco Racing. And that is our confirmed winner of the MTC. So Kifli Othman should be bringing that our engineering car around for an overall 9th finish, and the win in the Sport Production 1 class. And that 22 car, that's Eric Young. That's the big fight for Sport Production 2. And it literally goes down to the line as well. Those 2 cars up at the front. So that is confirmed. William Chong and Alan Tan with the win in Sport Production 2. Nazrul Hakim in 2nd. Eric Yong Bun in 3rd. cars should be coming through to Parc Fermé now, the highly restricted Parc Fermé. I say that because little is it known that not very many people are actually allowed in Parc Fermé. That is the big shock from the day. That number 66 car, which was fighting for second and third, possibly too hard, finally being dragged off the track. I say that because it's very odd that it stopped right in the middle of the track. That's Jonathan Z's car. He did very well indeed. And as I said, when you get into Parc Fermé, that's where the scrutineering for the cars happens. So it's not really a free-for-all when it comes to access. There is our overall winner. Third win for him this season. Good win for him as well. Finished 40 seconds ahead of Go Li Heng in race 2 of round 3. Just 6 seconds ahead, but that's all he needed this time. One of the most familiar names up at the Sepang International Circuit. There's a lot of drivers that have made this circuit their home. And whether it's riders in the ZK development racing team, or whether it's drivers in the Malaysia Championship Series, all have a pretty close-knit community here. It's getting very packed in that pit lane now, but it is good to see that there was very little incident that happened which would have a knock-on effect on everybody else. There were a couple of shunts. We'll have a look at the highlights in a bit just to go through those. Geraldine Reed was involved in one of those with Hugo Chai, remember? Tony Teo had a bit of a knock. Paul Fan had a steering lock. Other people that didn't make it through to the end, Fitra Eri and Go Li Heng, of course, Farid Sani and Julao. And Shazuli Isham Harun also with 3 laps completed. So these guys are going to have their cars scrutineered. They're going to make their way over to the podiums. There'll be a lot of podiums coming your way, one for each of the classes, but also one for EMCS as well. Now let's have a look at those final results. Mark Darwin with a fantastic drive. He takes the win. Jonathan Z in second, Akid Azli in third, Fikri Rahim in fourth. Good points for Fikri there. Fadzil Alang in fifth, On Yu Wei and Damien Yam in sixth, Lim Ye Xiang, Roy Tang in 7th and 8th. Nasri Sad takes the Sport Production 1 title and 9th overall. Ken Urata and Mashiko Ida in 10th. Brendan Lim and Chris O'Shaughnessy take the MTC win and 11th overall. Chung Chao and Tam Yik Chun in 12th. Adam Cullen in 13th. Danny Chin. Brendan Paul and Sia Wyong in 14th and 15th. Lung Yen Lee, William Chong and Alan Tam 16th and 17th. Nazrul Hakim, Eric Yong and Shafiq Shamsuddin 18th to 20th. That's really good from Nazrul Hakim. Remember, he started from the back of the grid. Ankei in 21st, Farooq Katia in 22nd, Hugo Chai and Alex Wong in 23rd, Kwok Hok Wai, Baron Sim and Go Li Heng take us up to 26th. Farid Sani, Julao, Tony Teo, Paul Fan and Fu Yung Chia start off the non-finishers, and there are the rest of them. Geraldine Reed, Shazuli, Isham, Harun and Rashid Ramlan. So we'll be back with the podium ceremonies in just a bit. The highlights, of course, coming up as well. While I've got the time, just a reminder, do get involved with the EMCS Championship as well. It's your chance to drive one of these cars for real next season. And all you have to do is show your talent. Let's have a look at those highlights. It was a nice, clean start, a nice, clean formation. Go Li Heng cutting in from the right. And you can just see bunched up there Baron Sim and Jonathan Z coming into turn 1, but a great start from Mark Darwin. This was the fight for second and third that raged on for the early part of the race. At this point, it was Go Li Heng, and they did trade positions a lot. There was only about a second between them in the end. This is going to be the lockup for Geraldine Reed, I'm sure. Yes, it is. And that cuts straight into the line of Hugo Chai and Alex Wong, and well, both those cars in the end. In fact, Hugo Chai's came on, but Geraldine didn't manage to make it back on. This was a daring cut on the inside from Brendan Paul and Siwayong that were looking for that MTC run. Didn't quite work out that side. That was Farid Sani and Julao. Very close coming out of turn 15 though in the end. But it was clear skies and clear run for Mark Darwin and this number 11 car that has been really putting in some good results over the first 4 rounds now. Don't forget, of course, second race coming up tomorrow at 3 p.m. This was one of the big stories. Goldie Haig's most consistent finishing car actually not finished the race. It was under the stewardship of Fitra Eri at the time. This was the steering lock from Paul Fun, and credit to him for coming out of the gravel, but unfortunately the wheels just were locked in that position, so he had to retire a couple of times after that. One corner after that. William Chong and Alan Tam from the Sport Production class. Sport Production 2 winners in the end. Good solid run from them. And this was what happened to Fitra Eri. Lots of engine blows happening between turn 8 and turn 9. 3 cars blowing their engine as they're going uphill at turn 9, but we didn't think it was going to be this car. Now the car that just went past was Boy Wong's Tedco Racing, but sadly that would have its own story as well. Right at the end of the race, that car would not finish, meaning no points for that number 66 car, and they were the championship leader, don't forget. Full points for Mark Darwin. Even after the full course yellow that was caused by that engine blow, still managed to come out about 6-7 seconds ahead. Now that is Eric Young. This was the finish at the end between Nazrul Hakim and Eric Young. 0.5 of a second between them. This checkered flag. I don't think we're going to get to see that static number 66 car in the end, but it is checkered flag for Mark Darwin. As I said, lots of podiums coming up. We've got the Touring Production podium, the MTC podium, and the Sport Production podiums, and of course the MCS podium as well. Once again, if you want to get in touch with the MCS and find out more about it, get onto the official website, www.sepangcircuit.com. We'll be back in just a bit.
Yokohama. Make him look bad. okey Test mic. Okey Sekarang nak check racing. Saya mau test je.
Jadi mana dia ambil itu di silver?
Tak. Sekarang I pakai receiver bawah, masuk mic terus je.
Oh.
Sekejap. San, RF dapat San.
Gambar tak ada lagi.
Ah.
Tak dapat lagi video ke tu? Nak minta check lip sync sikit. Benda. I seorang je.
Okey, cakap sikit.
Test 1 2 3. Ya. Dekat sangat ni gelap. Mana gelap. Jaga. Tengok San. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okey. Cun. Boleh pakai. Interview. Mic sini masuk full mic 3-4. Kau dah hantar ni satu left right, meter 1 meter 2. So 4 ada dah sepatutnya. Aku check dengan kau sekarang. Test 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. Satu, dua, tiga, empat. 1 2 3 4.
Welcome back to the official live stream of the Sepang International Circuit. We have just completed race 1 of round 4 of the Malaysia Championship Series with some great results as we near the end of the season. We're about ready for the podium presentations now for all the different classes. We should be heading down to the podium in just a second. While I'm here, just a reminder, if you want to get any information about the Malaysia Championship Series, or not just the teams and the championship points and the results, then you can get on to www.sepangcircuit.com. That's the official website. And there you can also find out about EMCS and all the other championships happening. If you want to get tickets for the MotoGP on November the 2nd, or of course if you want to find out about the MSBK Championship as well, that's coming up soon, I think in a couple of weeks, then all the information from all the championships is on that site, www.sepangcircuit.com. In fact, while I'm telling you about that site also, some of the promotions that are happening, go-kart circuit, bring your car up to the track, everything you need to know. So we're going to be starting our podium presentations with the SP2 class. That's William Chong, Alan Tam, Nazrul Hakim, Eric Yong, and Shafiq Shamsuddin should be coming up first.
Nazrul Hakim and William Chong and Alan Tam.
Subclass, call it a subclass, it is actually a class in its own. Really, it's a touring production MTC of the well familiar classes. Yes, Yunus Malik, the track operations manager. The bright sunshine is really up here at the podium that you can see exactly how much sunnier it has been today. 50.7 degrees was the track temperature at the start of this race. And there's our winner for SP2, William Chong and Alan Tam. Good teamwork from both of them. Alan Tam coming in for the second half of the race. And they finished 17th overall, 17th, 18th and 19th. In fact, some good points in the bag in this very critical round of the championship. As I said, the only event left after this will be round 5, and it's a very special format for round 5 in that you don't have race 1 and race 2. Congratulations to all of our winners from the sport production class. As I was saying, round 5 is a combined weekend, so it'll be race 1 and race 2 together in a 300-kilometer endurance race. And I was commentating on that last year. 54 laps of action. So up next will be the sport production 1 class. And that is going to see some joy, finally, for Kifli Othman, who has been paired up with Nasri Said, Ken Urata and Mashiko Ida from FPC Racing will be up there as well, and Chong Chow and Tam Yik Chun. Yunus Malik again, track operations manager with the trophies. Great drive from Chong Chow and Tam Yik Chun.
Second place, car number 54, Ken Urata
Ken Urata and Mashiko Ida, Japanese pairing. And Mohammed Nasri Said and Kifli Othman. Kifli, as I said, hasn't been having the best of times in other classes, but he's on top of the podium here. And a big shout for Nasri Said as well. Great extra win for him, another win. Congratulations to our SP1 class winners. Still race 2 coming tomorrow, of course. Don't forget 3 p.m. Mark it down in your calendars. A bit soon for calendars, I say just go for diary. MTC is up next in terms of podiums. Very keenly contested class, this MTC. Really been literally last corner finishes. And this big battle has been happening between the Dream Chaser team and Tedco Racing. Brendan Lim and Chris O'Shaughnessy will be the very happy people at the top of that podium. There they are. Adam Khalid with a good second spot. And in third, Danny Chin, who's been very consistent this year. In fact, Danny has only just pipped to the win in round 3. There's Kenneth Ma, Asia Formula Renault and Clio Cup representative. That's another one of the championships happening today up in Sepang. On hand to distribute the prizes. Adam Khalid proud of that trophy, and so he should be. That was a great drive. And what a turnaround for Tedco Racing after a couple of DNFs in round 3. As I said, saw their closest rivals take the lead, back in contention. And after this photo call, one last podium to go, and that is for touring production. And if you didn't believe me when I said that Mark Darwin is a smiley character, I think you're about to see the visual proof. True, you've just caught him after he's won another race. He's bound to be a little happier.
And now, 30 seconds for touring production. Please welcome car number 70, car number 50, and car number 11.
Akidasli, Jonathan Z, and Mark Darwin. And it's really good to see Akidasli and Jonathan Z both on the podium, as they have been really causing the headlines. There is Mark Darwin in the middle, as I told you. Always smiling, always winning by the looks of it. Third win for the season for him. But the other two, in second and third, they have been having a nose-to-tail battle now for 3 complete races. It was for Kenneth Mark, the Asia Formula Renault and Clio Cup representative, on hand, as I said, for some of the other championships happening today, and with some prize-giving duties.
Touring production, MCS, round 4, car number 11, Mark Downing. To race for national anthem.
Congratulations to our touring production class winners from the Malaysian Championship Series, and that does bring all the podiums taken care of. I think we should be hearing from them just a bit.
Baik, okey. Dapat.
Tak hemat aku dah bagi.
Yup.
Okey. Okay. What stand here?
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. And right now, we have the results for Race 1, Malaysian Championship Series 2018 Round 4. And with me is the winner for the touring production, car number 11, Mark Darwin. Hi, Mark. How are you feeling? Good?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good, especially today is my birthday, so it was a good present for myself and the team think we did very well. There's a positive to take back today and celebrate the rest of the day.
Nice, nice. So, what was probably your performance for today compared to the performance before?
I think today I have a very good car, very good setup of the car, and it was just maintaining the pace and make sure that we don't run into troubles and complete the race as we are collecting valuable championship points. So I think we are all good for the championship.
So, what was your strategy for today?
Sorry?
Sorry, what was your strategy for today?
Today was just make sure that we complete the race. So it was a bonus that we won the race. So we hope so that we can replicate it tomorrow for race 2.
Thank you so much, Mark. Congratulations once again. All right, for the Malaysian touring car, I'm with car number 76, drivers Brendan Lim and also Chris O'Shaughnessy. Hi, gentlemen, how are you feeling today? Good?
Very good, very good. Had a fantastic time.
What do you think about the weather today?
It's a little bit warm, but it's not too bad. Compared to Australia, it's about the same.
Okay, so what was your strategy for today? I mean, what was going through your minds for the race?
I think we started the weekend with a lot of car problems, so the strategy was to finish the race.
With some car problems, what problems did you have with the car?
Some mechanical gremlins, so too many to mention.
Just teething issues, to be honest. The team did an amazing job to pull it all back together for us and present us with a car that could give us the win. So, very happy to be here and be a part of it.
All right. Congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you so much. All right, for the S Production 1, we are with the winners, car number 77, Muhammad Nasri Said and Kifli Othman from R Engineering. Hello, gentlemen, how are you?
Very good.
Kifli, how are you doing?
Very good today.
So, what was your probably your achievement today compared to round 3 before?
This round, This round, I'm first time partnering Hatta for SP1 class. So, a lot different than what I'm racing previous round in the TP class. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, how is the partnership going on? First place, so is it working?
Yeah, it's working so far. We had a good car by our engineering, so the setup was great. But we had a good run today, even the warm weather. So everything was perfect for us.
So your strategy today with the team worked, I assume?
Yeah, it worked well for us.
So who's your competitor, you think, in this category for your team?
So the newcomer, the team from Japan. So it's been a good race for us.
All right, congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you so much. All right, gentlemen, for SP2, car number 289, William Chong and Alan Tan from Rios Racing. How are you, gentlemen? How are you feeling?
Very, very good. Yep.
You guys are really happy with your achievement for today?
Yeah, very good. I mean, of course we are happy because last round was our first round with this car, and we try a lot of new things and all the setup. So this round we get first place. So of course happy.
So what was your sorry? So what kind of obstacles did you gentlemen went through in the track today?
Sorry?
What kind of obstacles did you went through today in the track?
Everything was so smooth as what we planned. So there's no drama for us at all. So it's I call it an easy win.
Okay, so what's in store for the next race?
We don't know yet.
Okay, thank you so much. Gentlemen, congratulations once again. Thank you. All right, thank you so much. And that was the race 1 for the Malaysian Championship Series of round 4 right here at the Sepang International Circuit.
Thanks for that, Aush. Good to hear from all the winners from all of the classifications for the Malaysia Championship Series. Once again, just to reiterate, that the second race will be at 3 p.m. tomorrow. I'll be here for that, but do stick around on the official live stream for the Sepang International Circuit because there's plenty of other racing coming up, including the race 1 and race 2 for the TCSA by IMSB. For now, I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. Enjoy the rest of the day of racing. I'll catch you tomorrow at 3 p.m.